today we're going to be comparing every colorblind mode extensively in Fortnite Chapter 5 Season 3. We are going to hop straight into this, but if you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe. It's the least I ask from you guys. You can always unsubscribe later, But getting into this, as I mentioned, we're going to start with no colorblind mode. So as you can see right now on screen, this is a little video, a little preview of a Fortnite scene, which I went in game and got, of no colorblind mode this season. So this is what it looks like, as you would probably expected. The colors haven't really changed too much, but there's a lot more orange in this season, a whole lot more orange, like a lot more like sandy tones, orange, and the greens are a little bit darker, it feels. And there's still snow on the map for some reason. You'd think that would have melted. Moving on to Deuteranope, I think that's how you say it. This is what it looks like. I mean, my humble opinion, it's too dark. That's what I think. It's way too dark. It washes, I wouldn't say washes out, but it makes the oranges like a horrible greeny yellow color. The greens are way too dark for my liking. It's like putting your shadows up, and if anything, I feel like this is gonna affect your game the most. Like, you're gonna have a competitive disadvantage, really. It just doesn't look good. It looks good in the snowy areas, but there isn't enough snow on this map to justify it. And I guess players could stand out better in like the sand, you know, yellow deserty scenarios, but buildings in the distance with this one don't look that great. They're hard to really make out, especially if they're in like darker, more grassy areas of the map, which, you know, that's like probably 50% of the map. Protanope, this one looks closest to no colorblind mode. It does slightly darken things. It's actually almost like Deuteranope, but like toned down a bit. Like if you were to put no colorblind mode and Deuteranope together, like merge them, or have Deuteranope on like 5% colorblind mode or colorblind mode strength, this is probably what it would look like. It actually is the most vibrant out of the two, but it's not too vibrant. It's not like colorblind mode, which is quite just neutral. It's not like Deuteranope, which is way too just dark and sick looking. That's the best way I can explain it. Protanope's good. I like it, and I think actually it does a good job at making this buildings in the distance stand out the most out of everything. It's a good like boost of contrast almost, without actually changing your contrast. Although I will say it does make your game look very purple. It's quite big on like the purpley pinky kind of hue or tones. So yeah, I would be wary of that. The blues are not going to come out that great, but I guess that's also why it darkens them. Although I will say it does look a little bit weird in the snow. Tritanope, in my opinion, looks the most visually appealing. Like, this is like straight eye candy, very vibrant, very nice to look at. Buildings in the distance don't look too bad. The snow is like, you know, it pops a lot actually. It's quite nice, and it feels very warm, and like it matches actually the season. Like, we're coming into summer, and it matches the whole idea of the kind of the new season as well. Like, by season I meant like actual real life seasons, like summer, spring, whatever. But the actual season as well. So wrecked, I think that's what it's called this season. It feels good. It matches. It's nice. It's vibrant. I personally like this. It looks the best for content creation. Competitive play, I don't know. I think you probably want to go with like a Protanope or even a no colorblind mode for that one. But the big decider will be how these look in the zone. So when you're looking into the zone or in the zone looking outwards, this can make a difference, and it can affect your play. It is a huge competitive advantage or disadvantage. So let's go and check each one of these now with zone scenarios. So starting off with no colorblind mode, as you would expect, not too bad. We can see into the zone. It's a little bit bright, to be honest, for my liking. Yeah, boring. Deuteranope, this one you can see the most in the zone. So I guess if you can pinpoint this for yourself and use something as like a reference point. But looking at the tree to like on the right, the middle right, and also like there's a little rock next to the tree to the right of it, you can see it actually is very, very prominent. It stands out. It's way better than no colorblind mode. There are a few more of these like little different colored squares in the zone, as you can see in comparison to no colorblind mode. Or if you go back and look at no colorblind mode, you will be able to see that and notice that, but it isn't too bad. It actually is the best for looking into the zone and looking out. It actually is the best for looking into zone and scouting enemies. So if you're playing a lot of late game stuff, or you're literally just, your whole game plan is to hold people in zone, this honestly may be the best in that case, if you can put up with the other, like, you know, competitive disadvantages of just generally how dark things look any otherwise. Protanope, this one, awful. Absolutely awful. You can barely see into the zone. Quite sad, really. There's so many of these like squares here as well. Yeah, it's very overstimulating. Just not good. If you're a zone wars player especially, like, this is you ain't gonna like this. Tritanope, wow, this one pretty similar like squares, you know, going on as Deuteranope. I think it's actually the exact same. It's just a lot brighter. Very, 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 very hard to see into that zone. I mean, it works. It's just basically slightly worse than no colorblind mode, so it just isn't that ideal. But now throwing them all up on screen just so you can see right here. Yeah, I mean, it's quite clear that Deuteranope is the best, and it's basically you have to kind of weigh out the odds. You know, what do you prefer? You have to kind of weigh out your options. What do you prefer? Do you prefer being able to see in a zone, or do you prefer a good looking game in general? That's kind of what it comes down to this season. If you can't decide, honestly, maybe go with one of these and lower the strength. So I use mine on like 4%, but obviously for the sake of this video, the strength of like each colorblind mode was on 10, so the maximum, but you can lower it, see how you like that. Personally, I'm using Tritanope. I think it's the best. Also paired with my actual color settings, like so my display and monitor color settings, and also the color settings that I've set up in my NVIDIA control panel. I will make a separate video on that because I think they do pair well with me using Tritanope on 4%, but any otherwise, I think if you can't decide, no colorblind mode is one. It's best for you in, you know, more indecisive people, because I feel that totally. And you know, it honestly doesn't look that bad. You know, most pros probably are going to be on Deuteranope because, you know, that's what they do. They're competitive players and they're holding a lot of people in zone. They're playing a lot of late games, but they're probably using that on like a 4% as well. That's like, you know, that's like a standard now. It's not halfway. It's a little bit more on the no colorblind mode side, but it still gives you those little advantages of seeing in the zone better and doesn't quite darken the game too much to the point where you're losing out when you're just, you know, scouting around the map and looking for enemies and looking for weapons and so on and so on. But let me know what you think in the comments. I mean, the main point of this video was to show you guys like side by side and go into game and just do this for you so it's less annoying, and you can kind of just look at the images and the graphics I showed in this video, the little screenshots, and put them all together as like for your own comparison and make your own conclusion here. But personally, again, I'm using Tritanope 4. That's a strat in my opinion. I've got the best color settings that kind of match with that, so I'll make a video showing them very shortly, so just, you know, keep an eye out.